Hi there, welcome to Word Drop. My name is Ruth Pringle and I'm joined by Jenny Reid. Um,
Hello.
so, welcome. This is not an English lesson, this is a conversation, and you are invited into it. Every week during our Word Drop, we just discuss a word. One of us picks a word, and it's a surprise to the other person. And we just follow that conversation a little bit like following a river to see where it takes us. There's no fixed destination in mind. Although you will probably notice that in today's word drop, we are telling you all about our forthcoming course, which starts. So it starts on Monday, actually. Yes. Okay. Ooh. Right.
So, Ruth, you've got a word for us.
I do, and it's because the word I chose this word because it's what I have been doing all morning. My word is testing, testing. Yeah,
Testing.
testing. So obviously, there's lots and lots of connotations for it. The thing that I was testing this morning is quite invisible, and basically, for our course to sell online, we've got like a product page called Thrivecard, and that's linked to a payment processor, which is linked to the membership site. So I'm basically making sure that when somebody puts in their details onto the product page, that's like um, one sales, it's a sales cart, and then the payment processor, and then the membership press is the basic skeletal delivery thing for our course. Except it's not, because we all know it's going to be happening live rather than in a platform. But I have to test that journey because I need to make sure that the payment triggers the next step, which triggers the next step. So in a way, it's like deadly boring because that's quite frankly hideous to have to describe. But when I'm in that space, it's really there's part of me that is quite nerdy and techy and enjoying that process. And it just made me think a little bit about testing because as artists and creatives, we're constantly testing. We are evaluating what we do, we're making our marks, we're learning from them, we're moving on. But there's this whole invisible part of the process that is just to be testing, and nobody, it's sort of, it's invisible, it's unpaid, it's like it needs to be done, but it's how we develop. And then I thought perhaps, well, that doesn't just apply to artists and designers, that applies to everyone. And then for designers and people like architects, how do they do their testing? They don't build a whole building and and watch and make sure it stays upright, do they? Or
Hopefully not.
yeah. So I guess I'm curious about where the testing is in their process. Like they'll be testing working with different contractors. They'll be testing different ideas at sketchbook phase. They'll be testing things through their like computer programs that are designed for visualizing and rendering these images. But yeah, so to test. And then that got me to thinking about language as well, because what we have created in our course is a test space, a place that is safe for people to practice using their English. And we'll be giving feedback, but I think most of the transformation is going to come from just having the context to speak in, to use their English, and to most of that's going to happen in their heads, although we are on the fringes to shape it and direct it and to push it when it needs to be pushed. So I think we are like safe space for testing things,
Yeah,
producers.
I totally agree. But I would also say that I think the word testing in English also creates some fear in students.
Mm,
And I would like to say that testing has a couple of meanings. And here we're talking about maybe experimenting with things, trying things out,
mm,
seeing if they work or not.
mm,
And that's
mm,
absolutely fine. it's all about discovering what works for you and enjoy, what you don't enjoy, perhaps,
Mm,
and making the language your own.
mhm,
It's not about testing and it being right or wrong, because that's not
mhm,
how language works. Maybe for an architect, they have to know whether the building is going to stay up or not, but they've probably got different ways they can do that, so they can change the shape, change the materials, change
mm,
the style. I don't know enough about architecture. Any
mm,
architects watching, please feel free to
mm.
jump in.
Scale, there's gonna be some things that work on a small scale that don't work on a large scale. So,
Mhm,
yeah, so, I mean, that I presume is learnt knowledge that you don't necessarily learn through testing at all, but I'm just curious as to where in that profession, where the test is, where this experimentation. I think there is a difference between testing and experimenting as well, because experimenting is quite playful and you follow leads and you're not necessarily looking for a conclusion. Whereas I think if you're testing theories, it's more scientific in that there's something that you're trying to uncover and discover. You're on a path and you need to work out if it's the right path or the wrong path. And it can still be playful and it can still be
mhm,
fun. But like there's a result that you need to discover within it.
mhm. Yeah, maybe experimentation is the stage before the testing. So you're
Mhm,
experimenting with different ideas, seeing what you like, and then once you've got a
mhm,
firmer idea of what you want to achieve, so
mm,
whether that's a maybe an eco house,
mm,
so you'll then be testing ways of keeping heat inside so you're not losing heat. And I'm
mm.
sure that these days the computer programs allow you to test all kinds of things. I
Well, I think if we move on to language, there's computer programs that allow us to test language as well. But to a point, only to a point. And what you were talking earlier about saying it's neither right nor wrong with language. The language programs are very good at kind of saying right or wrong, true or false, for like, you have expressed this sentence grammatically incorrectly. But where humans come in is about whether that sense is conveyed. And I think you can test who you are when you're speaking. You kind of test different almost positions or viewpoints or being who you want to be. And like we don't learn a language to be exactly the same in it. There's a little bit of self-discovery about like alternative ways that we can be ourselves in this new language that we can certainly dabble with and experiment with. But then I think there's another level that we maybe kind of test it in that we are applying it to things that matter, like our profession. It matters if you're an artist, if you're a creative. It really matters how you show up. Um, and you want kind of accuracy within that. So yeah, anyway, that was that. And then finally, it was just to kind of invite everybody who's watching to take part in our testing of the course, because of course this is the first time we're delivering this course together, and that in a sense is our test. It's why we are presenting the course in a ridiculously generous offer of 50% off.
Mhm. But this
Because
will also give us a chance to, I don't know what word I was looking for there. It was on the tip of my tongue and it's just disappeared. But we're going to be able to carve out this course
mm,
with the participants. And I
exactly.
think that's going to be a really exciting
Mm,
concept for us as well as the participants.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So in no ways is it a pre-written course. That I think when people hear online course, they think it's a pre-written course that they're going to step into and kind of pop out the end and everybody's going to be on the same journey. It's incredibly not it's so not that. It's actually melting my head a bit, trying to work out how all the different components are going to fit together. But yeah, no, we're building something for you and around you. The first conversation we have is about what you need, and then we are basically designing this for you. So in a way, we are refining our systems for that. We will be refining what questions to ask, when, what's the right amount of feedback, when do we check in, and when do we leave you alone. These are the things that we need to know in order to run the course in the future, but it's not ever going to be a generic course. Every single participant and time we run it is going to be unique. Is it a test, or it's going to, yeah, it's definitely going to be unique, and it's going to be yeah, we're going to keep testing new things on you. We're never going to stop testing on you. Is that a good
thing? But also, we can't test these things without the participants.
100%.
These are things that we will only find out once the course has started.
Yeah,
it's going to be exciting to see how it all runs.
Yeah, absolutely. So just final call, our sketchbook course for artists, designers, architects, creatives, creative thinkers, I like to say. I like to define it as people who think best when they're holding a pen or a pencil. That's a really weird ICA, but it's my ICA. If this is you, our new English course begins this Monday. Sign up ends at 10 p.m. on Sunday evening. We hope you join us in this big, wonderful test. It's going to be exciting. We've got great energy for it. We're going to transform your English. And yeah, come join us. Jenny, thank you for joining.
Lovely to be here. See you soon.
See you soon.